Hey, y'all. My name's Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads podcast. A great episode for you this week. A new one.
That's right. A new one. Another new one. Another great guest. Our buddy Darcy.
Yes.
He's a great guy. Shared some awesome stories. 3 kiddos, man, all within, what?
Stair-stepped every 2 years.
Every 2 years. Bless his
the
heart.
Parrish family is big, and he alluded to the fact that he's probably done after this, so I get that.
Yeah.
He had some fun stories. We talked about sports, we talked about disciplining kids, we talked about incentivizing kids, and just some fun stories that comes with raising them.
Yeah, he did have a good dad hack for us too.
For sure. Yeah, I think you guys are going to really like this one.
It.
And he brought 2 dad jokes. One of them he might have gotten from his wife, but it was a lot of fun, so I think you guys are going to enjoy this one.
Absolutely.
So I guess without further ado,
let's do it.
We'll jump right into this one. Decent Dads podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome. He's a 6'2" 3/4" sophomore shooting guard from small town Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of 2, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Doing good, man. I love that you switched that intro up just a little bit every episode.
Well,
I know.
He's
Evidently, I'm shrinking in my old age.
Well, those crutches aren't making any taller, pal.
Oh, that's true. Definitely not. But no, doing good. It's a good day for a good day,
it's
boys.
A good day.
Got our East Coast hoppy coffee in hand today, so it's good. No, man, had a fun night tonight. Get off work, have to run home, hop in the car with Allie and Brody, pick up Liam from school, get dinner, go to soccer, immediately leave soccer, go to swim lessons. And it clicked in my mind when we're going home from swim lessons. I'm like, this is just the beginning of the craziness of kid activity. So, Darcy, maybe you'll be able to talk a little bit more on that here in a bit with you having a little bit older kids there. But no, got a great guest today, Darcy Parrish. He's in our Rotary group together. One of the Rotary ballers is what I like to refer to him as.
Hustler, baby.
But yeah, me and Bryant know you fairly well, Darcy. So if you will, some people probably don't know you too well. So if you will, tell us who you are, what you do, give us your dad resume, tell us how many kids you got, what are their ages, and which one's your favorite.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Darcy Parrish. I'm a financial advisor here in Springfield. And my family and I, we live in Nixa. Married to my wife. That's right. Married to my wife, Kirsten, for 10 years now.
Oh, congrats.
It's been 10 years.
10 years, yeah, this past December. And we got 3 awesome kiddos. My son Easton is 8, and my daughter Olivia is 6, and then our youngest Emmy is going to be turning 4 here in a couple of months.
I forgot you guys had an Olivia. I love that.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yep, Liv. We call her Livy.
Yep, I got one of those.
That's funny.
It's literally what I call my wife.
Livy. Oh yeah. So yeah, 3 great kids, and I'm good with 3. I think we're good.
That's a constant conversation on the show. Is how many is enough for you and your family? Because I think Liv and I are probably done at 1.
Okay.
And we had a guy on last week who is about to drop. Well, his wife is about to drop number 4 into the world, and he's 32.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to hear.
I'm ready to move out of the baby phase, move on, to the young kid phase, and
you were in diapers or the like for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. They're about 2 years apart, so every couple of years.
Last one probably just got out of diapers, didn't it?
That's right. Well, she's almost 4 now, so she's been out for a little bit.
Yeah, okay,
but
gosh.
Yeah,
that's
good for you, man.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we're glad you're here, buddy. I mean, I've known Darcy frankly, was one of the guys that helped me get introduced around Springfield when I first moved back to town. We were in Rotaract, what was now 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
somewhere in that time range.
So, glad you're here, pal. We do a couple of things every episode. First and foremost, we start out with everybody's favorite baby tantrum of the day. And whether you're got a 6-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 6-month-old, or a 36-year-old, they're probably throwing tantrums. And I just want to start with the guest. I just want to let you get it out. What kind of tantrums are you dealing with? You got 3 kiddos. I'm sure you got plenty.
Well, when I think of tantrum, that word makes me think of like a kid rolling around at Target, because mom wouldn't buy the toy that he wanted. Unfortunately, we don't have much of that. I kind of shut that down pretty early.
Teach us your ways.
Teach us your strategies. We need the help.
I'll put up with that. But right now, I got an 8 and a 6-year-old, and these siblings, they kind of go back and forth a little bit. And so the other day, Kirsten was picking up the kids from school, Easton and Olivia, and at school they do a word of the month, like courage or respect or kindness, and one kid gets selected out of school or out of each class to get the award, and they do this whole ceremony.
Cool. Oh, this is like the courage kid of the month.
That's right. Yeah. They do a whole assembly with the whole school, and it's kind of a big deal. And so Olivia got picked out of her class.
Good for her.
And she was all excited to tell mom about it right after school. And soon as she opens up the van door, Easton jumps in and blurts out, "Olivia got picked for word of the month."
Oh, no.
It just steals her thunder. Olivia starts crying, throwing a fit, and what was supposed to be this really cool thing, her brother just ruined for her.
Typical older brother stuff.
So, just things like that where the siblings are kind of going back and forth. That's one thing we're trying to work on right now.
Sure,
Nice.
absolutely. Well, and I will throw back at you something that you present to our Rotary middle school recognition people. Your kids getting awards like that are probably indicative of your parents doing something right at the house. So way to go, buddy. Good for you.
I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Derek, what kind of tantrums you deal with this week?
Yeah. No, we had a good one. I think it was on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was. Had an awesome day. Boys listened great. We were out and about doing a bunch of stuff, and they were just listening so good, doing great. And so we was like, you know what? You guys have been so good today. We're going to treat you. We're going to go get some ice cream, right?
Sweet.
So we go to Brahms. That's our ice cream spot. And we went inside, and we're sitting down. And the boys are eating their ice cream, and everything's all good. Then Brody finishes his, and he's just sitting there, and nothing's in front of him, so he decides to start licking and chewing on the table. And we're like, dude, Brody's 1.5.
Okay.
And we're like, dude, you can't do that. So I push his head up. I'm like, Brody, stop. Like that's gross. Don't do that.
Give it a rest, pal.
He gets pissed at me, starts yelling at me, and then he keeps going back down, trying to do it again. So I just put my hand over the table where he's trying to lick, and then he moves his head over, tries to look over here, over there, and he just gets more and more pissed. And I've mentioned before where when he gets really pissed, he does the silent cry where he turns purple.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Turned purple in Brahms, just pissed off because I wouldn't let him lick the dang table. I'm like, dude.
Come on, Dad.
So did you
Right?
did you steal the dad hack that we've gotten a couple of times where you blow him in the face, his face to try and get him to stop? Did that work at all?
I mean, we try that, and eventually, he does breathe, and the purple goes away.
That works a little bit. We used to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We never had to deal with it until Brody. Liam never got that mad, I guess. But Brody, he's got a little temper on him, man. He's our little fire baby over here. But
but also he screams like a grown man.
Yeah, he doesn't. Tears don't come out. Just yells at you, so it makes you feel real nice. But
So
what about you, Bryant? Did you have a tantrum or did
I did. Now
your
this
daughter?
week it's not a Bryant tantrum. Last week I had a Bryant tantrum.
Okay.
It's picture week. Last week was picture week at Elsie's daycare. They do them once every 6 months. Liv has been.
Oh, yeah.
My wife, Liv, has always been really fun about finding funny things to send to school with her for picture days.
Okay.
Elsie has been obsessed with veggie straws since she was a very small child, and so she got 3 or 4 bags of veggie straws sent to take pictures with the first year, and it was hysterical to see a 1-year-old with a bunch of veggie straws around her. The second time around, it was a shopping cart from Target.
Remember that one.
A little baby shopping cart from Target. This year, but I say all of that to say, none of the pictures that we got from the photo people were her smiling.
Oh, really?
Deadpan, dead serious
Mean mugging.
with this goofy shit around her in these pictures. So it's just nothing serious. So we thought, okay, let's change tact. Let's send her with something that she really likes. So we sent her with her little turtle stuffed animal.
Okay.
We call Elsie Turtle because her first ultrasound, she looked like a turtle.
Oh,
so
really?
we call her Turtle.
Okay, nice.
So we sent her with the turtle. And it was a day where I was off, and so I actually went, and then they said, well, do you want to just stick around for picture day? And I was like, heck yes, I do. Maybe I can actually get this kid to smile in a freaking picture. And so I'm dancing around in the back. So they sit her down, they put the stuffy in her lap, and I'm dancing around. She loves to sing, so I'm a grown man dancing around singing happy birthday in the back of a room. And
somebody recorded this, right?
Yeah, I wish. I mean, I'm dancing around. I finally was pulling up my tummy and slapping my gut, like trying to get anything I can do to get this kid going. I thought we completely failed. Gentlemen, I am proud to tell you we got one smiling picture at picture day.
Well done, Dad.
So our tantrum was not so much Elsie screaming as it was just deadpan pissed looking at this lady taking pictures of me and why. And then we're also, and I don't know if you can hear her upstairs, we're also dealing with a slightly sick child right now. So going to bed is not very much fun at all.
Yeah, well, speaking of sick children, that leads perfectly into my dad hack.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so Liam...
Wait, so what are we going to do?
It's...
Dad hack alert! There we go.
There you go. But no,
You'll see.
my dad hack...
Darcy's like, what the hell just happened?
I missed something? No, okay.
Liam, he hasn't really been sick, but like he's had a cough, and sometimes he coughs so much that it makes him throw up. Mm-hmm. And so recently,
I got one of those.
Yep. Recently learned that, you got to strategically place bowls around your house whenever they're going through this.
Yeah.
Because the other night, he wakes up in the middle of the night. Actually, he woke up several times, and Allie kept going in there with him. So he woke up another time, and I heard him throw up a little bit. So I was like, she's been in there so much. I was like, I got to go in there and take care of him. And so I go in there. And again, he threw up just a little bit, but then he starts coughing again, and he throws up again. But luckily, I caught it in my hands. Ugh. Right? So it's just sitting there in my hands. I'm like,
my favorite. Right? That's my favorite.
And I'm like, I got this. But then I realized, I'm like, oh, shit, I'm still in a cast on my foot. I can't just get up and dump this in the sink. So literally, I shuffle over to the doorway on my knees, holding a handful of puke.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, Allie!
Help me!
Allie!
Help me!
And she's like, what? I'm like, I just got puke in my hands. I can't go anywhere. So she just brings a towel in there, and I just dump it in a towel. And then it clicked. I'm like, okay, from here on out, I was like, I'm putting a bowl in each room to make sure that doesn't happen.
Especially while you're casted in.
Yeah. And, so lesson learned there. Bonus dad hack is put some paper towels in it so it doesn't splash back up in your face.
Yeah, you got to have the paper towels on the bottom.
When they do it. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Did you guys have the popcorn bucket that also doubled as a throw-up bucket in your house when you guys were a kid?
We had the Tupperware bowl.
It was a Tupperware bowl or like a deep dish bowl that it was when you made family popcorn. You dumped it in there. Yeah. But then also when you were sick, that was also the throw-up.
I'd used for everything.
Tupperware.
I'd never thought of that. But
that was the thing that went across the internet like a year ago or something, and I remember reading that and going, yeah, that was me. That was my family. That is absolutely something we dealt with.
Oh, man. That's gross now that you think about it.
Yeah, it's real vile.
Thanks for ruining my childhood,
real vile. And I
survived.
Yeah, that's okay.
Made us stronger.
My immune system's great, let me tell you. Our dad hacked
I thought that popcorn tastes funny.
Me and the mouse in my pocket. My dad hacked, it's okay to trust other kids at the playground. I am a single parent. Excuse me. I am a parent of a single child, not a single parent. Okay. Love you, Liv. She does most of the work. And so we're trying to figure out how to not be helicopter parents because we're both like, we would prefer she just be wrapped in bubble wrap and not get outside of our arm's reach. Mm-hmm. But we're trying to work on that. And so we go to the park, which is up at one of the schools near here, and it's a public park, and there's a bunch of little kids playing, and Elsie's not even quite 2 yet, so she's a little young to be running around on the playground, but also how's she going to learn if she's not getting around the kids?
Exactly.
And there were kids ranging in age from Elsie at 2, and maybe there was even one kid that was a little younger than her, all the way up to like a couple of kids that might have been like late in elementary school. And I was watching like a hawk that like I was just convinced that one of those older kids was just going to knock her
push
over
her down,
and push her down or be a bully about it. But you know what? The oldest kid was mother henning her in the best way possible. Mm-hmm. She was just she was stopping her friends, go, hey, let's look out for our little friend here, and was like directing traffic, being mother hen to make sure nobody stepped on my daughter. And like, I was so happy to, and frankly, I had a little bit of like my faith in humanity restored, seeing that the next generation is not like, completely crappy. I was completely convinced that this was going to be a terrible experience and Elsie was going to get pushed over or bullied or something. And nope, just the older kids taking care of the little ones.
Hey, I was the same way with Easton.
Right.
I don't know if it's the firstborn because I wasn't
I think
quite
it's
that
probably
much with the next ones.
Yeah.
And as they get older, it gets better. You get less protective.
It's a live and learn thing, right? Like once you had that
Yeah.
experience, that it's not near as terrible and awful as you thought it was.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But so it's okay to trust little kids at the playground sometimes because they're not all going to bully your kid. It's okay. What about you, Darce?
Dad hack. So I got an 8-year-old, 6-year-old, almost 4-year-old. Sometimes they're a little slow moving, when you're trying to get them dressed in the morning, ready for school.
On their own
Chop, kids,
timeline.
let's go.
That's right. So a couple of years ago, I incorporated what I would call the countdown. I just start from 10. I'm like, all right, you got to get your shoes on. 10, 9, 8, you can do it. 7. And they just start rushing, and they try to beat the timer, and I make it to where they can beat it most of the time.
Right.
But if they don't, I'll sound the buzzer and be like, okay, let's try it with your shirt now. 10, 9, 8, 7. It just gets them like
That's genius.
moving.
Yeah, that's good. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that
like
a lot.
race. So if your kids are ever, lollygagging, start the countdown. It'll get them moving.
And it's not like I'm going to count to 3 kind of countdown
no,
either.
it's
It's just
a
let's make a
countdown.
game out of it.
That's
Let's have some
right.
fun. I really like that, Darcy.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
That's a good idea. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that because I just implemented it. Like when my Brody, he's terrible about like going places that he shouldn't go, like mom and dad's bedroom or our closet, and just ripping clothes down, making a mess,
Yeah.
But recently I'm like, Brody, I'll race you to the living room, and he's like, let's go,
They love to race,
But if I would have told him like, hey, let's get out of here, he's like, not today, So
Hey, I'll race you to your room.
But I'm definitely stealing that. and using
start
that
the
on
countdown.
boys.
I bet you
That's
can't beat me
great.
there in 10 seconds.
Right.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that a lot.
Or if you're on the playground, it's time to go. They're still wanting to play. Just start the countdown, and they'll come sprinting.
Yeah,
That's so funny. Bet you can't get to me in 10.
That's right.
9.
That's right.
Yeah.
that's cool, man.
Well, so speaking of gamifying, some of these things like this, you mentioned, and frankly, just because we know you're a sports guy, introducing your kids to sports, when to introduce them and how you're going to introduce them. And you were a collegiate athlete as well, and so I assume that you guys have had some conversations. We just kind of want to pick your brain on that. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you guys are doing.
Well, so let's take Easton, for example. He's a second grader. We got him into sports in kindergarten, just rec ball, rec baseball, and rec basketball. And now he's a second grader, and people are starting to play club ball.
Sure.
And when you play rec ball, it's we do it through the Nixa Rec Center or whatever. You get 6 games and 7 practices. Each practice like 45 minutes. It's it's pretty low key. You're just learning fundamentals or whatever.
You picking your teams at that point, or are they assigning you to a team?
You can, like, if you know some kids, we know a couple of kids that are good friends with Easton, you can request them to be on the team.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So
because I know that's different in different communities, so I wondered.
it is, yeah, and it's nice because it makes the kids more comfortable if they got a couple buddies on the team or whatever. But now that we're getting into club, now all of a sudden it's, maybe a couple practices a week. You got evening games, double headers. You got Saturday tournaments. You're traveling an hour. And
for second grade ball, first grade ball.
It's coach pitch, too. So, we don't have somebody trying to strike them out yet. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. Like, we're having a lot of fun with it. But I'm just wondering, there's this narrative that kids are just starting earlier. I don't remember playing sports for third grade, probably. I don't know about
I was thinking second or third grade for me.
Yeah. And now there's,
that seems about right. Yeah.
You feel like if you don't start them immediately, they're going to be
out of
behind.
the womb.
That's right. Yeah. So, but I'm not convinced that, like, obviously Easton's going to be a better third grade baseball player by playing in first and second grade. I think that's pretty clear.
Sure.
But is he going to be a better seventh grade baseball player and beyond?
That's a good point.
If we just wait till third grade, wait till 9 or 10 to get into this stuff, because that's a time commitment, it's a money commitment. Multiply that times 3 kids, and you're doing all this stuff when we're just trying to figure out, is it worth all of that. And
Right.
And are you risking burning them out?
well, that's right. Burning them out, potential injuries, I guess.
Sure.
If you're playing, all the time, you got the risk of that. So as long as they're having fun and, and there's multiple sports too. There's baseball.
Right.
Now we're getting into basketball also. He wants to play flag football. My daughters want to do gymnastics. That's a whole nother deal. So anyway, we're just trying to keep a balance so
Sure.
that you're not busy every night, every
gosh,
weekend.
I can't even imagine.
And you don't, burn the kids out. But
We're
it's
burning
so
the parents out, dude.
Right.
We got 3 of them.
Yeah.
You got 3
Or
kids.
get burnt out ourselves.
Nonstop. Yeah, it's something every night there.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
But it's a lot of fun though. That and you meet a lot of dads.
Sure.
I've gotten to know some great dads and some good people through it. So anyway, if you guys got any advice on that,
No, it's interesting
Yeah.
though, because it's been a topic quite a bit on the show, talking about sports and introducing your kids and how you want to do it. And this is kind of the first time that we've talked about the win. Not so much. I mean, we've talked about the how much do you want to get them involved, because we've talked about travel ball and how much of a nightmare that can be, especially when they're like 4th grade traveling 6 hours every weekend to go play
Right.
ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of goes
Yeah.
back to your question though. Like, are they going to be? Yes, they're going to be a better 3rd grade player if they started in 1st. But I definitely am not convinced they're going to be better in middle school if you started
Right.
2 years early. I mean, I always go back to the example of Dennis Rodman didn't pick up basketball until he was
Like high
25
school
or
or
something
something,
like
right?
that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
post-high
not
school.
true, but it was
Yeah.
after high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he ended up playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
sometimes kids are just athletic and
Right.
then they can play the sport. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the other part of it is getting on a team. So if you start early and you get on a team, like in club baseball, for example, there's 3 teams in Nixa for 8-year-olds right now, and kind of the number 1 team. Most of those players played all together last year, and so they keep them together, which I think is a good thing.
Right.
Sure.
So if you want to maybe get on a certain team, maybe you got to start a little bit earlier. But then I like to coach too, so
Yeah.
I'm okay starting kind of our own team.
I was going to say,
helping out.
have you kind of
coach.
decided to do that then? Is
I'm
that
kind
the
of
route?
helping right now with the baseball. I coached his rec team this last summer, basketball and basketball in the winter and baseball this last summer, and I'm kind of just helping out on the club team right now.
Sure.
But I plan on coaching in the future. And
Was Kirsten into sports stuff
uh,
growing up?
she ran like cross country,
Okay.
played a little volleyball.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I just didn't know.
she's into fitness, but
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. My thing on it is I want to introduce them to as many sports as possible, right? And just see what they're into. I don't really care what it is. Just, whatever they're interested in.
I think that's important too, letting them try different things when they're young, developing different coordinations rather than just focusing on, say, baseball.
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Getting the movements of other sports down too.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm in the same boat as you, man. Like, I think holding off on the whole club or travel or AAU, whatever you want to call it, till later on down the road, because we all know growing up, the kid that was the best kid on your 3rd and 4th grade team was not the best kid on your 7th and 8th grade team, and he wasn't the best kid on your high school team.
No.
That's right.
So it just changes as different kids mature, and so
Well,
I'm
'cause
right there with you.
so
man.
much of sports has to do with who you are and how you're built,
well, and
just as much as it is
and how
much
you
skill
mature
you have.
too over time.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we always talk about the one guy that I played, or that I grew up around, Spud Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
That like Spud was a stud all through high school, but he stopped growing in like 7th grade, and so Spud was 5'10" or whatever
Mm-hmm.
in 7th grade, or however tall he was, and was a pretty decently height guy. But then that was where he stopped. And so the rest of the guys on the basketball team shot up, and he was the same height. Still shot lights out, but
Right.
never actually grew into the rest of the basketball side of things.
Yeah.
I before we go too much further, I do have. Go ahead. That's all right. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say on our questionnaire thing here, one thing that really stood out to me that you put down here was your dad advice and talking about when things get tough, whether it's sports or whatever it is, not really necessarily trying to blame other people for what's going wrong or get upset with them. Just really trying to focus on how you can be better, how you can be a better dad. So. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it goes for not only parenting but also marriage and career.
Preach.
Advice and but relating to parenting. If my kids are not acting appropriately, rather than getting mad at them or getting mad at my spouse. It's like, okay, did I keep them up too late last night? Did we not give them a good breakfast? Did we do something or did I, do something or could have done something differently to help them, thrive a little bit better? So I kind of have this saying, I got it from a guy in our business of, I am the problem, I am the solution. That's kind of my motto that I go by.
That's so good.
And, it's anything. I mean, at work, if it's not going well, it's not my coworker's fault. It's not, anybody else's fault. There's things that I can do to improve it. And same with marriage. If things are going through a rough patch or whatever, it's not me blaming she's not the one that needs to change. It's things that I can do to.
What can I be doing better?
Yeah,
sure.
That's right.
You can only
be doing better.
Yeah, only control yourself there. And man, that hit home with me reading that whenever you put this down, just because of with me hurting my ankle and stuff. I mean, it is a very frustrating time for me, and I can easily get short with my wife or my kids. And reading that, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I don't need to take it out on them or whatever. It's like, hey, what can I do better? I mean, sure, I might not be able to do everything that I was able to do, at the current time, but you know what? I can unload the dishwasher pretty good because there's not much moving in that.
Yeah. That's right.
So it's like, how can I help out? What can I do different? I love that you put that. That was good stuff, Darcy.
Yeah, I mean that's something that goes back to like me trying to be a better person for everybody in my life. I can't ask everybody else to just do better because I want them to do better.
Right.
I just need to be better. Yep. If I'm unhappy with something, it's not anybody else's problem but my own. So go fix it yourself, because it's not anybody else's problem. It's your own shit. So
control the controllables.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to do sometimes.
It is.
So I started thinking about some questions that I wanted to ask some of our guests, just because I was so Elsie's not been feeling well. Liv has been stuck at home with her, and Liv is also not feeling well because she's been stuck at home and she has a sick kid with her, and it's just been not very much fun. So I was gone all day, so I got home and immediately just like, Liv, go. Wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do. If you want to leave the house, leave. If you want to stay around and just hide in your office, do it.
Yeah.
So she ducked out, but then I realized, oh shit, it's 5:15. So I probably also better figure out some food.
Liv, where's dinner?
So
call her up right when she leaves.
Hey, is there a dinner anywhere? And we do a pretty good job of, because we both work, so we do a pretty good job of like splitting the cooking stuff. But it got me thinking about the like, oh shit, last minute couple of these things that you might deal with as a parent. So I've started thinking about a couple of these ideas. So I'm just going to ask a couple of rapid fire questions. We don't have to have some big long conversation about it, but I just kind of want to hear your guys' answer, and I'll give you mine too. So the example I just gave, Kirsten's gone. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden you look up and it's 12:15 and the kids haven't eaten. Mm-hmm. You go into the kitchen and it's like, okay, Dad's making lunch. What's the go-to lunch for the kids? What's your go-to, like, oh shit, I know this is in the house. It's always in the house. What are you making for the kids? What's your go-to, like, meal?
Well, my kids love mac and cheese, like every kid.
Okay.
I try to spice it up a little bit. It's actually from what my parents did when I was a kid, but it's basically just seasoned hamburger with mac and cheese. It's like your own hamburger helper, and I throw some peas in there.
There you go.
Added the peas.
Okay.
Oh yeah, a little vegetable.
Yeah.
So
getting the green in there. That's healthy.
Hamburger and peas is when there's nothing there. We always got some beef in the freezer and peas in the freezer and mac and cheese in the cupboard. That's usually my go-to.
Okay, that's the go-to. What about
go-to.
GTC? What's your go-to meal?
Yeah, so
for the kids?
mine's chicken nuggets, and then either peas or green beans, and then like some sort of fruit, either blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, something like that.
Got it.
Get your protein, your vegetables, your fruit. You're good to go, man.
There you go.
See, you guys are way more fancy than mine. I realized I immediately went for the tortillas and the cheese to make a quesadilla.
Okay.
And then I went
that.
for, Elsie is obsessed with hot dogs, as every child probably is. But we, in an effort to try to find something that's not as bad, we have turkey hot dogs for Elsie. So a turkey hot dog goes in the microwave, scrambled eggs go in the pan, quesadilla comes out of the pan, and some kind of fruit, kind of like what you're talking about. So we're getting some protein, because at the end of the day, Elsie will have like 2 bites of eggs.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then I'll put the hot dog in front of her, and she will I cut it up, but she will house an entire hot dog.
Nice.
As a 2-year-old, it's like, oh, good. All right, so we're just eating mechanically separated turkey parts. Awesome.
What's in that hot dog?
Yeah, what do you think's in that nasty-ass thing?
Part of the turkey goes in the hot dog.
Right.
Not the good bits, I can tell you that. It's not
no
the
turkey
breast and thigh. It's the gobbler and the kneecap.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so that's one. That's interesting because I want to start asking people that because I want to see, like, one, what kind of staples do you keep around the house? Because the other one's pasta. Elsie eats pasta like crazy, and so we will always have jarred pasta sauce at the house too. And so you just cook some pasta, throw some hamburger meat.
I'm always
in the
wondering
pan.
what other people are cooking. I mean, I feel like we get in the same routine.
Oh, right.
Tacos, spaghetti, it's
For
the
real,
same
though.
thing. And
Do you guys do, like, Tuesday is taco night
lot
and
of
Wednesday
times,
is
yeah.
hamburger night or something like that? Do y'all do that?
a lot of times, yeah.
Is that the same deal in your house?
Well, yeah, like you're saying, but it's the same meals over
That's
and
right.
over and
Sure.
over. And it's like,
Yeah.
need to
It's
get-
grilling season now, so I've been getting outside a little bit
There you go.
with that. But
There you go.
Yeah.
Liv cooks okay, but she's gotten a lot better and she's gotten into it more. And so she made chicken tikka masala the other night, and like, it's like, where the hell did this come from? This is great. I love this. Okay, so the other question was, it's date night, Friday night. Kids are at either the babysitters or grandma and grandpa's, whatever. Kids are out of the house. You guys are going on date night. You get a little sideways. Uber drops you off at the house. Kids are staying with the babysitter that night. It's Saturday morning. You've gone to pick them up and you bring them home, but you're both hungover. What's the go-to distraction at the house? What are you doing to distract your kids on Saturday morning? What's your go-to distraction? Your kids are a little older, so I'm curious what works. What are you doing with them to try and distract them so you can lay on the couch and drink your Gatorade?
Well, fortunately, there's a kid that lives across the street that's the same age as my son, so he's out.
Perfect.
You're
nice.
across the street, kid.
Yeah.
one down.
One down.
Are they like riding bikes in the neighborhood kind of deal?
Playing basketball, out doing on the trampoline, all sorts of
that's
stuff.
nice.
There you go.
And we do have a trampoline. The girls like to be out on the trampoline. I caved and got a Nintendo Switch just last year
There you
for
go.
Christmas, so that's one thing.
So that's
It's an
yours. What are your
option.
kids doing?
Chris and I are playing Mario Kart. So we got a few things. The TV is kind of a last resort. We try not to plug them in front of the TV, but if you got to put a
Dude.
movie on, you got to put a movie on.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you? What's
Yeah,
your go-to
well,
distraction?
Yeah, so me and Allie have a rule when we go out on date night, only one of us can have a real good time. So
Somebody's got to be on
right,
duty.
yeah, and we take turns, right? And so typically in this situation, only one of us is hungover, and the other one's like, hey, you're taking care of the kids next
Daddy
day,
on duty. Let's
basically.
go.
Right? So the other one can recover. But if we were in that situation, which hopefully we never are, man, honestly, probably what I would do is, drive down to my parents.
Oh, I like this. Just hey, y'all
Drop 'em
kept the
off
kids
at my
last night. You
parents'.
want to keep them again this morning so I can be hungover?
Like my parents live on the farm. The kids love the farm, so it's like it's a win-win. And I'll probably just like sit inside mom and dad's house and watch Sports Center or something and recover.
You guys go run around the back 40.
Yeah, right. I would say that's probably what would happen. Like I said, I haven't actually experienced that yet. Hopefully, we never do, but we will see.
So I asked that question because I want to hear everybody's reaction, because everybody has that thought when you first start to be a parent. Well, I'm not going to use the TV that much. My kids aren't going to watch TV. Well, inevitably that becomes the crutch that we all live and die by.
Oh yeah.
And of course we use the TV, of course, but it has unfortunately gone a step further than that. Elsie wants to listen to music on my phone, but she has discovered that Spotify has little videos that go along with the little kiddie tunes.
She's discovered this at less than 2 years old.
Well, I mean, I'm playing music and I leave my phone sitting up, and then she
Okay.
walked over and noticed, and I didn't notice it, but like on Spotify, there's little animated things that play on the kids' songs, and so Elsie will sit there and try to get her hands on my phone and just sit there and look at my phone. I'm like, oh God, not already! Don't start this yet.
Right.
But I will. So you'll see it when we go upstairs later. I've got in Elsie's playroom upstairs, because we don't have a dining room, we have a playroom.
Okay.
There's a teepee in there, and I will lay my head in the teepee and close the teepee doors and then let Elsie play around like in and around my feet
While Dad takes a nap.
while Dad takes a nap in the teepee.
How are teepee naps? Pretty good?
I've got basically all of her stuffed animals shoved in there, and so I've
That's your
got one
pillow?
shoved under my neck and one shoved under my shoulder, and so
My neck's really been bothering me lately. I don't know why.
If I'm trying to keep the TV out of it, because we definitely use Miss Rachel, we weaponize Miss Rachel against our daughter, but I will lay with my head in the teepee.
Oh, man.
And it's kind of cool in there. There's a fan. There's
Right.
the vent right there
It's a
next
little
to
bit
it.
darker.
Yeah, it's actually kind of nice.
Feel like
I
you're in
might sleep
nature.
there tonight, actually. Oh man, that's good. That's good. Well, Darcy, another unofficial, I guess, part of the podcast that we have is, share some funny stories with us. You have 3 kids; they're all at a pretty fun age right now, or at least I think so. Hopefully, whenever my kids get there, they're at a pretty fun
It gets
age.
better as they get older. in my
I'm
opinion.
starting to notice
Yeah.
that. I'm starting to notice that.
They
So,
slide at the end of the
Do you
tunnel,
promise?
guys.
right. But yes, you're probably full of funny stories.
I got a
with
funny
that
one.
many
Yeah, I
that
got-
many kids. So share your stories with us.
Well, this one goes back a few years. Olivia was probably 2, maybe a little less than 2, maybe Elsie's age. Easton was 4. We were at our last house, and we have the kids have little iPads, and we call them iPads, the Amazon Fires or whatever.
Sure.
We just call them an iPad. It's easier to say. And,
Cheaper too.
That's right. And
Doesn't cost as much.
Olivia has kind of always been the tough one. She's just
Nice. I got a tough Olivia upstairs.
That's
Yeah.
I got one of those.
that's a
Right
second
upstairs.
child thing. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I think it might be. Yeah, she's the tough one. And so big brother Easton walks into the room. Olivia's sitting there with her iPad. And Easton just comes up and grabs this iPad out of Olivia's hand. And I'm laying on the bed. It's in the bedroom. I'm laying on the bed. Olivia rises up, wraps up around his waist like she's doing a form tackle, and takes him down.
Atta
While
girl.
doing
2 years
this
old.
battle
Atta
cry.
girl. Atta girl.
I jump out of bed like, whoa, like you just saw a big football hit or something. I was so happy for her. Came over and gave her a big hug.
Dapped her up, give her a chest bump. Let's go.
I was so proud of her. And Easton got all excited too that his sister took him down. And everybody's excited, so he's excited. But
Oh, dude, isn't that funny though? Because oh man, Brody's the same way. Like he's our tough one. And my mom was up just the other day, and Liam, I don't know. Well, both of them are this way. Whatever the other one's playing with, the other one has to have, right? That's just how kids are. Well, so Liam's bad about taking stuff away from Brody and whatever. Well, Brody, again, he's our little fire baby. Like, he gets pissed, and he'll just start smacking Liam right in the head. And it's like, as a
Little
parent,
brother's gonna catch one back one of these days.
as
It's
a,
gonna be a problem.
well, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I think Brody's going to be tougher, and he might not be taller, but I think he's going to be,
It's a Travis Kelsey
Yeah.
versus Jason Kelsey thing where
Well,
Jason's a little
exactly.
shorter and
Yeah,
stockier.
but heavier, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So my mom was up, and I was, and this happened a couple times, and so I told her, I was like, what do you do as a parent? Because part of you is like, you know what, Liam, you deserve that because you took that toy from him.
Yep.
But then part of it's like, you can't encourage Brody to.
Yeah, violence is
on
not
your
the answer,
older
son.
brother,
Violence
right?
is not the answer.
And then sometimes, like you were talking about with Olivia tackling Easton, sometimes you're like, that's impressive.
that's right.
I don't know whether to get on to you or congratulate you.
That's right. Give him a pat on the back. That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, man, I'm kind of having that battle in my house. It's like, what do you do?
Well, and we don't have that here, obviously, because we've just got the one kid. But the closest thing Elsie has to a sibling is her best little friend at daycare. We got to go to this little girl's birthday party over the weekend, and it was kind of the first time I've seen them interact in the morning when I drop Elsie off, and I see them interact in the afternoon sometimes. But it's the first time I've got to see them interact as like buddies for an extended period of time, and it's hysterical to see the interaction between the two of them and how one will goad the other one into doing stuff. This little girl, I don't want to use her name because I don't know how her parents feel about that, but this little girl is a wild animal. Just bouncing off the wall, so
Yeah.
excited, going all the time, 24/7, and is a daredevil. At her birthday party, she had a little bouncy house, but
Must
it was
be a
like
second child too.
well, she's first. She's a
Really?
first child.
Oh,
It's awesome, but they are 3-4 weeks apart in age. They've been in the same daycare class since they were 4 months old. Like they used to hand us this other little girl thinking that we were her parents because they look so similar. But they're in this bouncy house and they're bouncing together, and you can see the other little girl is throwing herself up in the air and then flopping down, and Elsie's just giggling her brains out about it.
Yep.
Won't do it herself. She's just going to sit here and watch and laugh her ass off about it. And this little girl starts to throw herself down the slide.
Yeah.
And she's going head first down the slide like a little daredevil. And Elsie's just watching and giggling the whole time. And then Elsie finally waddles over there, crawls one leg over, and very gently slides herself down.
Yep.
Like the timid little firstborn that has parents who want her to be wrapped in bubble wrap too. But it is kind of fun to see. That's the closest thing she's got to a sibling, to see how they interact. And one definitely is the wild animal, and the other one's just a little wuss and scared to death of her own shadow. And that's my daughter, and I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah, dude, that's how the boys are. Brody's the one that had the crazy one you was talking about.
Yeah.
No fear. We'll take him to the playground, and dude, he'll go head first on his belly down the biggest slide. He'll go flying off into the mulch or whatever's there, hit his face, and he just gets up and laughs.
Yeah.
And then there's Liam, who goes down the slide, and he's holding on both sides and squeezes so that he doesn't go too fast.
Break, slow. Gotta slow it down. A little too fast. Too fast. Slow down.
It's funny how they're different like that.
Exactly, and that's another thing we talk about all the time. Is like, man, you raise them in the same house, so you feel like you're raising them the exact same way, but
same
boys,
rules.
Our boys could not be more opposite.
Yep.
Like, I mean, they are.
Are you experiencing that with your kids?
A
little bit, yeah. Easton and Emmy have similar tendencies, and Olivia is just has some.
The middle child.
The what?
The middle child.
The middle child. Yeah. I mean, she's tough, but she's a little sensitive as well. So we sometimes have to discipline a little bit different with her. But Emmy and Easton, they're just nonstop talking, and Olivia's kind of shy, and but. They're all great.
That's a good point too. The discipline thing. That's one thing we've realized lately is like how we discipline Liam.
Yeah,
doesn't work on Brody, and vice versa.
Yeah,
I still don't know what works on Elsie.
yeah, right.
I'll tell you when I find out. At this point, I still haven't figured it out.
So that's always. I don't know. We still haven't really figured out a good one for Brody yet.
Sure,
because like we put Liam in timeout. Kills Liam, hates it. He thinks the world is ending.
Yeah,
Brody will put himself in timeout, and he's just over there just giggling and smiling. So it's like,
I've seen my brother do this. This is fine. This is fine.
You got to give him a consequence that is impactful.
Sure,
exactly.
Them,
sure,
I guess, and teaching them a lesson. In it.
Well, and like, so speaking of how different kids react to different things. We've got Elsie upstairs. She doesn't feel well. She's not been feeling well for a couple of days. And so she has been very needy, very much like in your face, please hug me 24/7. She ended up sleeping between us last night.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with that kind of stuff with your kids at all?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I just wake up and I don't know who's in bed. Somebody came up.
Which child are you?
At least they didn't wake me up. That's really my concern at this point.
They used to wake me up.
They learned?
But not anymore. Actually, their footsteps used to wake me up. Okay,
oh, sure.
Just natural dad instinct,
Yep.
man of the
Sure.
house. Sorry, I hear footsteps, I'm getting up. But now it doesn't. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Right.
And then they would sometimes come to my side of the bed. They've learned not to do that.
I was going to say, they learned.
Go back to bed.
No. Get out of here.
Mom
That's
would
not
be a
it.
little more nurturing and
Right.
loving.
That's so true, though.
So yeah, we've dealt with that kind of thing. And actually, another funny story on kids being sick.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're really sick, and sometimes they're not that sick.
I've not dealt with this, but I am convinced it's going to happen soon.
Oh, it's going to happen. And a couple of years ago, Easton was probably 5, Olivia was 3, Emmy was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Easton and Olivia were just kind of complaining all evening. Their stomach hurts. They didn't want to do anything. They felt bad. Trying to get them ready for bed. They're not listening. And so finally we said, all right, you guys can sleep in our room tonight. You would have thought that God came down and healed these kids immediately. I mean, they ran, got their sleeping bags, stuffed animals, brought it in, pillows. One of them brought in like a lawn chair and an umbrella as if we're like having a day at the
Going
beach
to
or
the beach,
something.
yeah.
I mean, they just, all of a sudden they feel great because they can sleep in mom and dad's room.
Oh,
Dude.
shoot.
Isn't that the truth though?
Yeah. Has Liam faked sick?
Yes and no. Okay, so I was just talking about how when he was coughing the other night, he threw up probably 3 or 4 times in the night, and so he's like, well, shoot, like, is he really sick? So finally, after I held puke in my hands for 10 minutes, he's like, you know what, just come sleep in our bed with us. And we had the TV on, So he's wide awake. He's just happy as can be, just smiling, watching what we're watching. We're like, all right, we got to turn this off so this kid will go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Turn it off, and then he's a poker. He likes to poke things. And so he's over there just like face to face with me, and he's like, Dad, that's your nose. And he doesn't like poke my nose like on the end of my nose. Nope, his finger goes up my nose.
Oh.
Yeah, and then
and those little fingers can get way back in there,
and then
too.
He's like, yeah,
it's tickling my brain.
Yeah, that's your ear. Pokes his dang finger in my ear, and I'm like, dude, stop, just go to bed. But the kind of like where we've noticed where he's like faking being sick, I guess, is he'll, when he doesn't want to do something, he'll be like, oh, my tummy hurts, I can't do that, right? And then so we've got to where we'd ask him just like random questions, because he'll be like, my tummy hurts, like cookie makes it all better. And we're like,
of course it does.
Yeah, right. So we'll just ask him like some off the wall question. We're like, well, does coffee make it all better? And he's like, yeah, coffee makes it all better. And we're like, okay, you're fine. You're totally faking this. And if he's like, if he says no, normally it's like, okay, this is legit. Like
something might actually be wrong.
Good. Sometimes you can find out if it's legit after a few questions. And you're like, all right, we need to be a little more
sure.
sensitive
Right,
here,
exactly. But yeah, we're definitely hitting that stage of faking it.
Sure.
100%.
I just had a thought, and it kind of goes back to my story earlier about going to Elsie's little buddy's birthday party. Have you guys started, and this is probably more you than it is you, this weekend was also our first birthday party for a kid that we weren't friends with their parents first.
Okay.
This was Elsie's first like school friend birthday party, and so it was interacting with a room full of people that we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we've met this other little girl's parents in passing, and they're they're awesome, and we've met them a couple of times in passing, but didn't really know them super well. And so we walked into a birthday party for a 2-year-old, and so it's grandma and grandpa and all of their friends, and then Liv and I and Elsie. It was like, oh, this is interesting. It's fun, and we had a great time, and it was really nice to get to meet everybody, but also it was like, this is strange.
Yeah, and you hate talking, so
I hate it so much.
I don't know what you did.
No, let's be honest. I love that stuff. Turns out Connor O'Mealy's sister was also there, one of our former guests.
Oh, there you
Brenna
go.
was there, so we knew some people in the
Run
room, but
into
it was kind of
somebody,
weird. Have you guys dealt with that at all? I mean, your kids being a little older, you have school friends that have now become adult friends?
I just make Kirsten take them. That's it.
Boom, done.
No, there is no dad hack. I just don't go.
No, we've done a few. I feel like maybe we've done some at a place where you're just sitting around, and like a gymnastics place or something, maybe.
Sure.
We did one where I went over to someone's house. I kind of knew them a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I ended up leaving because I wasn't going to stay for 2 hours while the kids were playing around. Then came back and picked them up. So
I like that.
it hadn't been too big of it.
Got it.
It hadn't been too big.
That was Liv and I, as we were driving to it, we thought she looked at me and goes, this is our first like Elsie friend birthday party.
Yeah.
This is so weird. Do you guys have any kids from like daycare that Liv made friends with or anything like that?
Not that I can think of that like we went to like a birthday party, but I don't think it's as bad like when the kids are the same age,
Sure.
like what you're talking about, because it's like you're in the same stage as those parents, so there's easy stuff to relate to. But I mean, our boys get invited to their older cousins' birthday parties, and I mean, obviously we know their parents, but then all their friends and their friends' parents, we don't know them, and it's like.
Also, their kids are all way older
my
than
kid's
your kid.
3. Like, I can't relate to a 10 or 12-year-old, parent.
Sure.
Like, they're completely different stage. So that's where it gets a little awkward, So it's like, well, what do you do for work?
Hi, my name is
Where did you go
Bryant.
to school at? How about that weather? So
I really hate those kind of rooms. I don't like that at all. It's awful.
It's awkward at that point.
Yeah.
You kidding me? I love that kind of stuff. I love doing that kind of job.
Oh, yeah.
You do anything with your kids to teach them about, like, are you doing allowance? Are you doing any kind of, like, teaching your kids about money at all stuff?
Well, we got a dog this last year.
Nice.
And he goes to the bathroom out in the yard.
Oh, yeah, got to clean up the dog
I like
poops.
this.
Of
I like
course.
this is
Quarter
going.
a pile, man.
Quarter a
pile. Yeah, kids get out there, quarter a pile.
Perfect. You want to send them over here next? I need to. I can't. I can't.
I may have to raise my rates. It's not working. They aren't getting out there as much as I
Stepping in some bombs.
Yeah. So maybe we have to go
Listen,
to 50
Dad,
cents.
this is really hard work. I'm going to need 2 quarters now. All right.
Yeah, tell them, if they don't start doing it.
And a quarter of fly in the house, too. Flies
there you
get around. Oh, yeah, quarter of fly to swat the flies. So
Oh, that's actually that would be a fun game.
Couple
Right?
little things, keeps them busy.
Heck
Plus, you
yeah.
know.
Do you give them a fly swatter?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I want to get one
And
of
that
those
teaches them
salt guns.
coordination too. I like that.
Yeah. They've
I like
maybe
that.
got like 3 flies over the. I mean, you know.
If you can Mr.
It's not
Miyagi,
breaking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, here's a pair of
chopsticks.
chopsticks. Go get the flies. Grasshopper.
Oh man, that's
Are
good.
you doing? I don't remember if I asked you about that. Are you doing anything like that with your kids
we
yet on the
haven't,
dollars and
we
cents?
haven't yet, like as far as like a monetary value of anything. But we've started giving Liam like responsibilities, and I liked giving them like some sort of monetary value. Like if it's like a quarter for like Liam cleans off the dinner table after we're done eating and stuff, and dumps in the
Sounds
trash,
great.
puts the dishes in the sink. And it's like little stuff like that we're starting to teach Liam. But I like the whole giving them a small allowance and then letting them spend that on something
Right.
or be generous with it, whatever they want to do there. Because that is something I really want to teach the boys, because I don't feel like really like he was talking about last episode, I don't really feel like I learned much about money and budgeting until I hit college, and I'd love to be able to teach the boys that sooner rather than later.
Right.
Well, I think it's probably more for me because I didn't. I had a job since I was 15, but I didn't quite understand the value of money. And I don't think that's my parents' fault. I think that's my own because I just refused to listen to anybody other than myself. So I realized as I went back and was editing the last episode, I was like, I kind of made it sound like my parents didn't do a very good job. They actually did a very good job. I just didn't pay attention.
Oh, right. No, like I said, I'm
Other
the same
things
boat.
on your mind.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
you're in high school.
So 16-year-old Bryant had different things on his mind
Right.
for
Well,
sure.
and 16-year-old Brian or Derek or Darcy probably had the dumbest parents in the world too at that point.
Yeah,
right?
of course. My
I mean,
parents don't know
that's-
anything.
Yeah.
Not at all. They don't have,
man.
35, 40 years worth of experience being, a human.
That's
Not
the
at all.
best part about becoming a parent is like I was such a jerk back in the day. Like, it's so humbling.
Yeah.
Didn't know everything that I thought I knew.
Okay, so it's time for everybody's favorite part of the episode. It's time for
What time?
Dad Joke of the Week.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Nice.
we're really professional around here. DC, what kind of dad joke did you bring this week?
Well, we were talking about sports earlier, and Darcy was talking about baseball, coach pitch, whatever it was. So it made me think. Have you guys heard the joke about the pop fly? Forget it. It's way over your head.
That boy. That's pretty good. You can tell that to the kids on the baseball team. That's pretty
the
good.
baseball team will love
That's pretty good.
I don't think they're gonna get it.
Maybe it'll be over their
That
heads.
8-year-old.
Oh, that is a great part about dad jokes. Like, it's funny when the kids get it, but it's also funny when they don't get it, and you're just like, never mind, it's good.
Well, that's like Disney movies in general, right?
Oh my god!
Or it's like it's fun and shiny and colorful for the kids, but also the parents then get a laugh out of some of the jokes that the kids definitely don't
Oh,
get.
the
yet.
adult humor in kids movies, like pre-watching them again now, is the best.
I found that with Else going back and watching some of the movies from like our childhood.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
holy crap! Did they just say that in a Disney movie? Wow, I didn't
You
realize.
that you're picking
Yeah.
up on things now.
So, Darce, why don't you go ahead and go? What's your go-to dad joke?
Well, I had to think about this a little bit. I don't have really a go-to, but I have two actually. I'm going to share if that's
Perfect.
okay.
Yeah, please do.
Even better.
Yeah,
Even
just
better.
brought back up. Actually, my wife gave me one before I left.
So it's a dad joke and a mom joke. We always like a good mom
That's
joke.
right.
We're good with that.
So the first one, this is what my wife told me. She goes, a man tells his wife to embrace her mistakes. And so she comes over and gives him a hug.
It's a great joke.
That's solid. Yeah, that's solid. Nice work, Kirsten. That's solid.
Someone told that before. I don't know.
No, that's
I
good.
think she heard it on the radio.
That's why my wife hugs me every day.
The one I had prepared, though, this is going back to the early 2000s, okay? It made me
Wow.
think of it when you
Yeah.
said dad joke. It's one of my buddies' dads. It just had like a one-liner that I really had to think about for a minute.
Love those.
But I think I was probably 17, 18, and one of my buddy's dad owns a auto parts store,
Sweet.
and we would go hang out, and we were probably like waiting around to go to the lake or something, killing some time. So there was a paper. I started doing a crossword puzzle, and I'm not very good at these. I definitely wasn't at 17 very good at doing crossword puzzles. And my buddy's dad walks in. I go, "Hey, you any good at these?" And he just starts taking over and just crushing it. There's like all these international countries I can't pronounce that are the answers. And I turned to him, I go, "So did you study abroad in college?" And he looks at me and goes, "Several."
Nice work, Dad. Nice.
I mean, it took me like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, wait,
Huh?
Several bros.
Huh?
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Close to an uncle joke.
Yeah. Well, I like the dad joke in the wild kind of thing too, where it's like applicable to a situation, not just a standalone dad joke. That makes me super happy.
If
when
you're
I
a
hear
dad
those.
and can just rattle those off like in any given situation, good for you.
For sure. Oh, absolutely.
I don't have that ability, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
We had a guy on the other day who was talking about like, I don't really do dad jokes, but I do like the dad one-liner where you're at dinner and the guy asks you if the food was any good and you hand him your like licked clean plate. He's like, no, it was terrible. I hated it. Like, that's not a dad joke, but also that's hilarious.
Oh, right.
It's me and only me. My wife complains that I don't buy her flowers.
Shame on you.
I'll be honest, I didn't even know my wife sold flowers.
What kind of flowers did you sell?
Again, stupid
I don't
ass
know. Never
jokes, but I
bothered.
just think dad jokes are so funny.
Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Well, boys, I think that's probably getting to the end of it. Darcy, we appreciate you being
Hey,
here.
thanks
man.
for having me.
It's
Great.
always
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
we love having our friends on, and we've had some folks on that we don't know as well, but it is always fun to kind of come back home and have our friends on. So we definitely need to say thanks to all the people out there on the internet.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
still
man.
seeing lots of success. We've
Seen a lot
got
of growth.
nearly, we've got over 1,200 subscribers on YouTube and
Nice,
lots of
guys.
viewers on Spotify. And so we just very much appreciate everybody checking it out. Like, share, subscribe, do all the social media
Comment.
stuff, comment. We're on Instagram and on Facebook because, you can't be a dad in our age group and not be on Facebook, right? Like, that's the millennial thing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And give us your dad jokes, give us your dad hacks in the comments because we still want to steal them. We have heartlessly stolen several dad jokes and dad hacks.
We'll
from
give you
people.
credit for it.
Yeah,
but
we'll make
we
sure
will
to shout
steal
you
it.
out, but
Yeah.
we're definitely going to steal it. I guess all I really have to say is way to go, decent dad.
Hey,
Nice work,
thanks,
man.
guys.
Darcy.
Been fun.
Well done,
Appreciate
Nice work, brother. So unless anybody else has anything else,
That's it.
we'll wrap this thing up.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you next time. Once
I quit knocking shit
the gimp gets over there, would you use your crutches, please? I don't care if it's quicker. I don't need you to be hurt longer. We had a guy that came in and we finished the episode and he said the funniest thing he had said the entire time right after the episode ended.
Oh, just like I kind of did.
He told
with
us like a no. But he just
Like, this
he-
was a legit dad
no, but like
story.
it was a funny
was it?
dad.
Yeah.
It wasn't just us talking. Like it was a funny dad story,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he told it as soon as the episode was over. I was like, "The fuck was that? Where was that on? Like when
Yeah.
we're recording? Come on,
Yeah.
Come on,
or,
man.
or
come
we,
on, man."
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
a come on, man section.
Yeah, come on, man.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Or we've had several guys too. They're like, "Oh man, that's it." Like I had so many more stories to share and stuff like that. So I was like, "Yeah, this has a funky taste to it." I was like, "Normally I like it, but it's better now."